The saying may be, if you build it, they will come. But what if you deconstruct it?
The Lego Masters doesn't have anything on us.
The baseball field is gone, and racing is back on the high banks at the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's the most pressure-packed weekend of the season so far, as the Cup Series playoff field is cut from 16 drivers down to just 12.
Nobody's really been able to separate themselves, and the playoff standings show that, where we're all kind of right there together.
The night race is considered one of the crown jewels of the sport, and drivers want to add this trophy to their collection, because it's not just a race.
Bristol International Speedway, the site of the first annual Volunteer 500.
Here comes Earnhardt. He hits Labonte.
I'm ready to rip somebody's freaking head off.
It's Bristol, baby!
Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile, a racing coliseum. And this weekend, it's a place where drivers' championship dreams can take a giant step forward or be crushed after 500 laps. The Speedway is back to its normal state now, just about 40 days after this was a cathedral for baseball. The Speedway staff has gotten used to transforming this place back and forth for different events, but this might have been its most challenging transformation yet.
I am amazed by what they've been able to do.
After the final out was recorded in last month's Speedway Classic between the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds, the Bristol Motor Speedway had only about a month and a half to take the world's fastest half mile from this to this.
Hopefully, it looks like nothing ever happened, and that was the goal, is to have it put back to where people really couldn't tell that we tore things down.
In order to fit a baseball diamond into the infield, things like pit walls, a part of the Goodyear building, and lights had to be removed. In order to get ready for this week's race, what came down had to go back up.
So the MLB team had basically a week to get everything taken down, and naturally it took them, 4 weeks to build everything. So they were in really fast mode to get things demoed out and moved out of the way. They were able to achieve that even with the delay. They were done basically that Friday post the baseball game. They were moved out far enough that we could start on some pieces, which was like the concrete walls. We got the building basically a week and a half after the baseball game, and we're able to start that. So what you see behind us has virtually been built in 3 weeks.
Ambitious projects like the Speedway Classic are nothing new for Bristol Motor Speedway. Remember, they played the world's largest college football game here and hauled dirt in and out for 3 years for a race. So even though this project was certainly more complicated, the staff felt confident they'd be ready for race week.
It's credit to Steve and Billy Kearns and the team. They are so good at what they do, but it takes a lot of planning. I mean, that was months and months and really years worth of planning. We're also blessed with great partners around here. Whether it's J.A. Street or Baker Construction or so many others that are here doing all this work, they take tremendous pride in working at Bristol Motor Speedway and what they're able to do here, and they do a fabulous job.
We never say never. The team here at Bristol can virtually do anything, as they've kind of shown, and we can do a multitude of different projects and things and turn things around. And the partners that we have and the contractors and all the vendors that come in, we never say no to anything. We always try to figure out how to execute.
The Cup race this weekend is of paramount importance. By the end of the night on Saturday night, the playoff field will be cut from 16 drivers down to just 12.
Bristol is probably the scariest one in the first round. You would maybe consider Southern 500, but for Bristol, for me, I mean, I don't think we've yet to go to Bristol and not have mechanical failures and tire failures. One of the two, or if not both. So just the nature of that racetrack is really taxing on the cars and the tires.
It's going to be chaotic, right? It is every year. Bristol is its own animal, and there's not really another challenge in racing like Bristol is. And yeah, it's things can go wrong quickly.
It's probably the one that, some of the things you can't control the outcome of as far as incidents go, because it's easy to get swept up in an incident there. So you got to have things kind of play your way. I mean, a fast race car helps there a little bit, but having maneuverability also. Bristol's a fun one, though. I mean, there's a huge atmosphere when you go to that place, and you got to go execute and get after it.
For the past 2 seasons, 2 drivers have dominated here at Bristol.
Yeah, we're one of those teams that's really good there.
But is it good for the track or the sport? We asked the drivers that question. Plus, they made their name on the gridiron in Southwest Virginia. We'll catch up with a pair of Hokies turned NASCAR pit crew members.
It's Bristol, baby, sponsored by Phil's Heating and Air.
I think it's just a really great fan experience, especially at, the races that have some drama.
It's Bristol, baby!
2 drivers have dominated here at Bristol over the last couple of years. So the question has to be asked, is that domination good for Bristol?
Hamlin. She's led 142 laps, and he wins the night race in Bristol. It's under the lights in Bristol. Kyle Larson is the man.
Larson and Hamlin have kind of stunk up the show there the last handful of years.
It's an eye-popping stat that seems almost hard to believe. But over the last 2,000 laps at Bristol, Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin have combined to lead more than 1,200 of them, with Hamlin winning the night race in 2023, then the spring race in 2024, and Larson winning the night race a year ago, and then winning again this spring.
We've just done a good job executing these last couple times, and even when Denny was winning his races, his team was executing. So it's not just the driver. It takes your whole team like it does everywhere.
But is total domination by just 2 drivers hurting the show at Bristol?
Sometimes you see somebody dominating, and it's interesting to watch that because you want to see how long that will go, because the competitors are always catching you or doing something to try to catch them, and can they stay on top forever? It's kind of interesting to watch that, I think.
And it's not like dominating at Bristol is anything new.
I don't know what it matters. If a guy's good somewhere, I think they should be celebrated for that. How many times did Darrell Waltrip win in Bristol? People kept coming.
At least one driver believes for the sport, someone flexing their muscle at Bristol can be all about what you make of it.
I don't know if it's good or bad. I think that when you have someone that dominates and wins a lot of races, that it usually creates good star power. It's just a matter of whether you're using your marketing tools well enough to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I can see how your fans get annoyed when the Kansas City Chiefs win all the time, or, top teams or anybody, wins something frequently. So I understand it, but I also don't think that you can just look at that and freak out and change, everything and go put dirt back on it or something wild.
NASCAR pit crews attract some of the best athletes in all of sport.
I was pretty heavily recruited coming out of high school. I think my final 5 was Alabama, Clemson, Tech, North Carolina, I think South Carolina as well.
We'll talk to a pair of former Virginia Tech Hokies turned pit crew members coming up. Plus, tire wear continues to be a big question when it comes to Bristol. So what can we expect this weekend?
You just have to execute week to week, and it's not so much about consistency in the playoffs as it is just pure speed, and you just have to be really fast every week.
The first 2 rounds are all about execution and being able to put together strong races. If you can get stage points, get stage points, but not having any major mistakes, I think from the top down on the team is what's really critical.
It's 3 races at a time, and then 3 stages each race, so 9 chances to get points, and through 3 weekends to go execute is how I look at it.
We had a lot of speed throughout the season, maybe some issues with execution, but the speed's really not been there, or not been there, right? So I feel like we'll have good cars. If we can go do our jobs and execute, we're going to surprise some people.
I think for us, it's the real simple stuff that you got to do every week. It's just execute. If you run up front, you got to finish there. I think we're all going to look hard in the mirror and make sure we're doing everything that we can to set ourselves up for success.
The top drivers not having as many points as what they've had in the past, I think it allows the other guys to squeak in if we stub our toe. So ultimately, it's going to be on us to execute well. And if we do that, then the speed that we have in our cars will be enough.
It's electric. I mean, the atmosphere's amazing, and it's a great place to be a fan.
It's Bristol, baby!
Down the road about 130 miles sits Virginia Tech. For 2 members of Michael McDowell's pit crew, their journey here to NASCAR started on the playing fields of Southwest Virginia in Blacksburg. Most Virginia Tech fans know the name Dax Hollifield.
It just felt like home to me. It felt like my style of football, very blue collar, down to earth, passionate fan base, and that's what I was all about.
Luke Bussell, also took his athletic talents to Lane Stadium.
I was kind of the opposite of Dax. I was definitely I made my living on special teams.
When their college careers were over, both had to try to decide what to do next.
I had a cup of coffee in the league, not very long, very brief stint with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At the end of my career for Virginia Tech, I was training for Pro Day, and I ended up, after Pro Day, I was still working out at the gym.
Neither really thought the next step would be NASCAR.
I thought I was done with athletics, and I thought I was, done. And I kind of, any athlete, has to kind of come to terms with that. So I kind of had already done that, and so I was saying, I didn't really think I was going to do it. I just kind of go down for the combine just to kind of experience it. And then I came down, and it blew me away with how just the environment.
Being from Shelby, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte, I was in the backyard of it, so I knew of it. I had a lot of friends that were passionate fans. My best friend in the world would probably be the best man at my wedding. He was a huge Chase Elliott fan growing up. My uncle was a big Bill Elliott fan. I had family members that really watched NASCAR and were really passionate fans, but never really me.
But now they are once again on the same team as pit crew members at Hendrick Motorsports, contracted out to the Spire Motorsports 71 car driven by Michael McDowell.
Used to be the guys that were working on your cars. We're the guys going over the walls too. That just not being enough, and having high-level, athletes from all different, disciplines elevates the game, not just on pit road, but just their approach and the training that they've done and how they go about their business helps actually the overall performance.
It's very similar to football, It's really competitive. The stop right now, a Cup pit stop is around 8.5, 9 seconds long. So it's very length-wise, it's very similar to a football play.
As soon as I started competing, as soon as I started jumping in front of the car and seeing the times up on the, we have this clock up there in practice. As soon as I started seeing that, I'm like, wow, I want to keep doing this.
For 2 years now, it has become a tired conversation.
We've all chased after that one magical race that we had with really high tire wear.
Still to come on It's Bristol, baby. We'll try to figure out what we can expect when it comes to tire wear this weekend. Plus, we will pay tribute to a pair of racing icons we lost over the summer.
Bristol, I love to go into the stands and watch. It's you can see all the action. You see the drivers just pushing as hard as they can, sliding, working different lines and angles, and it's just, to me, it's really, really exciting.
It's Bristol, baby!
For the past couple of seasons, figuring out tire wear here at the Bristol Motor Speedway has sort of been like unlocking some sort of secret code. For those who have figured it out, it's paid off pretty well. But figuring it out is difficult when you really don't know what to expect. Who could forget what happened to the tires in the spring of 2024?
The topic of the entire weekend was the tires, the condition of the track from resin and a buildup of marbled rubber that had some major implications on this year's race.
Yeah, the driver's been asking for the tires to wear out more. We got it. This was, if we were like a 2 on a 10 scale, this was a 9 or a 10.
We've all chased after that one magical race that we had with really high tire wear.
Since that race, there has been one race with no tire wear. And then in the spring, the tires had wear during practice and were back to normal for the race.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that racetrack creates really high tire wear in some situations, and then you come back the next day and don't see any of it. It's just weird.
The track temperature difference between the spring races and the fall race, we know concrete, particularly Bristol, is very finicky.
Ultimately, there is nothing more important than our Goodyear race tires that we run on the racetrack. So I trust the Goodyear brand and the folks there to do what they think is best. This is their wheelhouse, pun intended. They are tire people. I'm the race car driver, so I trust them.
So with a softer right tire and the possibility of some cooler than normal weather for the night race this season, drivers are still mixed on what they could see on Saturday night.
I would assume it would look like a normal Bristol race, but you never know. I guess maybe they're bringing a different tire there. I'm not really sure, so we'll see how it goes.
I feel like, it's hard to say. I know we're bringing a different tire. on the right side, I believe, to that race. So it's hard to say how that'll react, but I'd say it'll be somewhere in between the two. Hopefully we see a little bit more wear than what we had, but probably not quite as much as what we had last year in the spring.
I don't think anybody knows. All the teams, we were talking about it yesterday, it could go just like normal, how we've kind of had it, or it could be like that spring race and maybe even exaggerated beyond that point. So yeah, I don't know what to expect. This tire's kind of throwing us for a loop just depending on what racetrack it's at. So I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Hopefully our team gets it right.
Over the summer, the Bristol racing community lost 2 icons of the sport.
We were blessed to be able to do what we did.
Still to come, we will remember the lives and contributions of Larry McClure and Charlie Henderson.
It's Bristol, baby, sponsored by Phil's Heating and Air.
Bristol's wild, and it's such a place that it's a place where you can get caught up in crashes very easily.
It's Bristol, baby!
It is hard to think about racing in this area, particularly in Southwest Virginia, without starting with 2 men, Larry McClure and Charlie Henderson. The racing community lost these 2 icons over the summer.
Well, it's sort of funny. Back in the 70s sometime, somebody asked me to go to race with them down at Kingsport, and I said, well, okay, I went. So I went one night. It's a late model race, and I enjoyed it.
From that moment, it was love at first sight. Henderson began running late model races at Kingsport, and by the early 80s, Henderson Motorsports was racing in the NASCAR Cup and the Xfinity Series, then known as the Busch Series. Henderson and his team's ability to make the most out of their equipment attracted some of the top names of the sport, including Morgan Shepherd, Jeffrey Bodine, Ward Burton, and Jimmy Spencer. The teams won 3 times in the Busch Series with Brad Teague and Rick Wilson, including a win at the track the Abingdon-based team considers its home, Bristol, in 1989.
What I've noticed about Charlie is even when we're not doing well, he can still see the ways and what it takes to get to where we're winning again.
The team made the move to the Craftsman Truck Series in 2012 and won 2 more times with driver Parker Kligerman. The run from 1974 to present makes Charlie's team the 2nd oldest team in NASCAR, behind only the Wood brothers.
The fact that he and his family and this race team has sustained this long and is still in the top 3 series, being pretty competitive for what we do, and I think there's a lot to say for that.
There's no feeling like winning, and of course you got to be competitive to start with. Then that win, it's just a great feeling.
And you ask any of these drivers
the names
out here,
Tim Morgan and Larry McClure have been synonymous with each other for 45 years.
The dealership at Coburn became available, and I wanted to do something. I needed a partner, and we were friends, and I liked him, and he liked me. We trusted each other, and that's where we got started.
And it's that love of cars that turned into a love of racing when the 2 formed Morgan McClure Motorsports in 1982.
I guess we wrangled each other into it. Larry was a car nut, and I guess I was too.
And he started building that team. He moved to that shop. He started building that team. They started buying better cars.
The Lord blessed it, to be honest with you. Larry would tell you the same thing if you could ask him. We were blessed to be able to do what we did.
But they also worked hard to be successful, especially Larry.
We believed that we could do anything, and Larry's a hard worker.
14 wins, 703 races, 3 Daytona 500 wins, including back-to-back with Sterling Marlin. And of course, a win at their home track, Bristol.
It may have been the biggest race we won. I mean, we won 3 Daytona 500s, but it just launched us pretty much.
The loss of McClure, a blow to the tight-knit racing community in Southwest Virginia and to the NASCAR world.
It's pretty hard, and I have like a hole in my heart.
Charlie and Larry will certainly be missed at what they consider their home tracks this weekend. When NASCAR takes to the High Bank Saturday night for the Bass Pro Shops night race, drivers will be looking to conquer the last great Coliseum. But that's easier said than done.
Amazing place. Like, we don't have anything like that in my part of the world, and just crazy, the amount of banking and the seating layout. It was very, very impressive.
The 500 lap race there is tough always, so it's a grind. So you gotta show up ready to go and perform.
Thanks for joining us. It's Bristol, baby.
can go run 3rd to 10th, pretty consistently there. It's just a matter of how do you take that next step in competing with those guys at a little bit more of a consistent level.
I feel like I've been kind of right there. I've been, 3rd to 5th, kind of all those laps watching those guys. So, yeah, I feel like we're right there on the cusp of it. Hopefully, this time will be the charm where we can go and get it done, and would definitely be cool to do it in the Bass Pro Shop race for sure.
Talk about the tires. That was an interesting race that we had there when the tires really wore. I don't mind that. I think that's a cool style of racing. I think they've kind of figured it out since on what makes that track go.